All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Chief Danny Thompson. I'll spell that DANNY-THOMPSON, Fire Chief and EMA Director for Dawson County. To my right is State Fire Marshal Jeff Hogan and Sheriff Jeff Johnson. Another representative from the State Fire Marshal's office is Tony Pritchett. Basically what we had is at 5:13 this morning, units here from Station 2 were dispatched to a multi-vehicle accident on Highway 53, about an eighth of a mile east of Dawson Forest location. When they arrived there, they were able to observe 3 passenger vehicles and one 6,000-pound mini pumper transport vehicle on its side laying on 53. It was at that time they arrived at 5:20. At 5:23, the crews on the scene determined they were dealing with a petroleum-based ammonium nitrate product. They had called for the necessary remediation companies to expand a little bit on the actual product of release. This product is commonly used in mining and rock quarries. It was headed to a location in Marble Hill, just over inside of Pickens County, the other side of 53. It typically requires a 1-pound cast booster blasting cap. So the companies will drill a hole, they will pack the petroleum-based product into it, and then apply the 1-pound cast booster to be able to detonate it. I know there's been a lot of talk on social media that it's dynamite. This product's actually used in lieu of dynamite and has been for about the last 15 to 20 years because it's very safe in transportation and just its general usage. So we wanted to make sure we've got that out there. What we have from the incident right now, we have transported 2 male subjects to Northeast Georgia, relatively minor injuries. We won't expand upon that right now. We've also had 2 refusals from female patients that were involved in the other vehicles. We have had about 5 gallons of the product spill onto the roadway. However, the remainder of the product has been contained at this time. Remediation companies are on site and working diligently to make sure that the incident remains safe. We still have some basic motor vehicle fluids that are on the ground, the diesel from the actual truck, motor oil, transmission fluids. We will continue to remediate that as the incident evolves and the vehicle is uprighted sometime this afternoon. There has been no spillage into any waterways to include Lake Lanier. It is in very close proximity of Lake Lanier, but everything has been taken care of. We have no known leaks into any of those waterways. We do expect this incident to continue into the mid-late afternoon hours before Highway 53 is opened up. It's currently still under investigation by the Georgia State Patrol and the Motor Carrier Compliance Police. At that point, it really concludes what we have. We've basically done a shelter in place. We have one neighborhood that's within about 500 feet. That's the Sundown subdivision. And just based on everything that we've reviewed, spoke with the hazardous material mediation company, we don't foresee any issues with that. So we've just kind of issued a general shelter in place for that subdivision. That's really the only ones being displaced at this time. With that, I'll take a few questions, and you can also ask any of the other attendees here.
So what's the concern with the potential for an explosion?
So
it's not accurate to call it dynamite, is that correct?
That's correct. It's not dynamite. Really, the biggest concern for us is a fire, but you have to have several components to actually make that happen. There has to be that ignition source. The product in and of itself on the ground will not catch fire. So you've got to have some type of third-party ignition source to make that happen.
We spoke to 2 of the women who were involved in the accident. One said that she was hit head-on by a car that may have veered over the center line. Another woman seemed to indicate that she was hit from behind. I'm just curious how the accident, as far as you know, how it happened. Are you still looking for a car? Because she said that maybe there was another car that drove away.
I can't speak on that. GSP is, like I said, they're still actively investigating that. They would be a better source. They didn't have personnel available to be able to speak right now as far as the investigation goes. But like I said, it's ongoing and active, and they're still down there right now.
I imagine it's a very delicate situation as far as getting that truck back upright. What are you guys doing to ensure everything goes as smoothly as it can?
Preparation. But really, so we're working with the company name, just real fast, because I'm sure someone will probably ask. The owner is Austin Powder. They are out of Gainesville, Georgia. That's the owner of the actual truck. Working with the owner, the hazmat remediation company, to have what's called a heavy-duty rotator come in, a wrecker. So a larger wrecker, it's able to grab the truck, set it upright, control that lifting and everything, so we don't have any secondary incidents. And obviously, fire department personnel will remain on site for anything that may go wrong, but we anticipate a non-incident, get this vehicle uprighted, get it loaded, and get it out of here.
Are y'all unloading the substance?
So it is the latest that I understood from the hazmat company is once they get it upright, they're going to do a secondary assessment of the vehicle and the contents. It appears that most of the container doesn't have any significant damage to it. It just kind of rolled over. But with that, they're going to reassess it, and if all is in the process that they have already got in place by ratcheting down the cover lid on it, if that still holds tack, then they're going to just follow the vehicle to the final resting place of wherever they're going to transport it to. And I don't think that's been determined just quite yet.
Were there any injuries?
Yeah, so as we said, we transported 2 males, northeast Georgia, and then we had 2 females that were what we refer to as patient refusals. They refused transport and transport. They all appear to be minor.
Do you have to wear any sort of protective gear when dealing with this, and do you have any concerns for your crews that are going out there?
No, so our crews will wear their typical firefighting gear in the event, that there is a fire. The hazmat remediation companies, they're taking the necessary precautions to wear the equipment that they need based on the information that they have found. But right now, no self-contained breathing apparatus, no respirators, there's no concern of us having some type of atmospheric or air conditions out there.
What should homeowners in the neighborhood, what should they do, what should they know? What should they
Stay
not
put.
do?
Stay put.
Stay put.
Enjoy your lunch, watch TV, watch you guys report here in a little bit, right, for better information.
A lot of concern from our viewers. How often is it that hazardous chemicals or substances, whatever this is, travel our Georgia roadways?
Well, the state highway system of Georgia has hazardous materials transported every day. And every day we probably go without an incident. I think the general takeaway in the rule there is that the transportation of hazardous materials is relatively safe. Do incidents happen? Yep. And that's why we have fire department officials, law enforcement officials, the hazardous materials teams across the state. And we've had a lot of partners here today, here to help us, and we're very appreciative of all those partners. But as an overall, the hazardous materials transportation business is a very safe business.
How big is the perimeter? I know you said shelter in place. How large is the whole perimeter?
Right now, we have an isolation area of 330 feet.
I saw a few kids in the neighborhood that back right up to that road. If they're supposed to shelter in place, is there any danger for kids who may be coming home from school?
So we're working, obviously the incident occurred before the bus routes. So we're working with the school. We will continue to work with the Dawson County Board of Education. I was in constant contact this morning with Tony Wooten, who's their school safety officer. And if there's anything, any more updates that we have from the scene, we communicate that right back to the Board of Education. We work well with them, and that's, we see a lot of winter weather up here, and we deal a lot with the Board of Education. We have a strong relationship with them, so any updates we have, we share immediately with them.
Any estimate of what a hazmat cleanup like this might cost, and who's responsible? Is it the county or a company?
It's not the county, probably the owner, and I couldn't and would not like to put a price tag on the cleanup.
Was the driver one of the 2 men who were transferred to the hospital of the truck?
Yes, ma'am.
And we're certainly not explosives experts. What can you compare the substance to? I mean, we're talking 4th of July fireworks. How can you, in layman's terms, describe what your guys are dealing with right now?
The product as it sits is a very safe product right now. It requires various elements for it to become an explosive product. So in its current capacity, there's no blasting caps on the scene of the incident right now. So we feel pretty safe. I don't know if I can completely answer your question in comparison to fireworks. It's definitely not fireworks, but it's safe in its capacity as it stands right now.
Is there
Is it
a-
a liquid?
No, it's a petroleum. It's almost, kind of describing, it's kind of almost like a Vaseline type product.
Is there a commercial name for the product? I mean, you say it's not dynamite, but is there something you can refer to it other than petroleum-based?
It's a petroleum-based ammonium nitrate.
Okay.
I apologize. I thought I may have said that. If I
You
didn't-
did say that. I was wondering if there was, I mean, like TNT obviously has this big, long name behind it, and we call it dynamite. Is there something that they market this under?
No, sir.
The technical name is Hydromite Advanced 120.
Hydromine advanced?
Hydromite Advanced 120.
Thanks, Sheriff.
But we could just call it an explosive? Is that fair?
I wouldn't want to call it an explosive as much as I would just sticking to the ammonium nitrate, because it requires various elements for it to become an explosive. And I think that's the big takeaway here is, it requires several different elements for it to become that explosive component. In and of itself, it is not.
Car crashes often cause fires though with the hot engines, things like that. Were you guys ever worried that this crash, was there ever a tense moment on scene that this could turn into something bigger?
Well, it wasn't there when the first arriving units got there, but as any incident that we go to, there's always a level of situational awareness when we arrive, and the crews are constantly assessing these scenes to ensure a level of safety. Safety starts with them, out to the civilians and those that are passed through the incident and in and around the area. So we're always working in the emergency services business to ensure the safety of everybody out there. So to say that there was a tense moment, I don't think there was a moment that it was, tense, but we go through a process of when we arrive on the scene, we size it up. At that point during their size up, they were able to identify the product that they were dealing with. They went back, they researched what they had as far as the product goes, and then they were able to get the appropriate resources coming. And that's typically how most fire departments here in the Metro Atlanta work. Is you identify what you have, you establish a game plan of how we're going to remediate it, and then we put that plan into place.
And legally, they're allowed to transport this material at this time of day on this road?
Yes, sir.
Do you know anything about the driver's history, the driving history at this point?
Denise, I don't.
Anything else?
Oh,
Do we know how many pounds were spilled out? I know an early number we got from the sheriff was
Yeah.
about 10,000.
So this was a 6,000-pound transport truck,
Okay.
and that's what we believe to be transported at that time was 6,000 pounds.
Okay, thank you.
But it didn't spill.
5 gallons.
Back.
All right, if there's no further questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a safe day.